In today's video, I will elaborate on stress, what are the different kinds of stress and its effects on the body, and how to deal with it naturally. In my previous video on why diets fail and why we face resistance when trying to adopt a healthier lifestyle, I mentioned the root cause, which is stress. You can find the link in the description if you haven't watched it. People have very different ideas with respect to the definition of stress. Probably the most common is physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension. Most people consider the definition of stress to be something that causes distress. However, stress is not always harmful. There is stress that is healthy, which is usually ignored when you ask someone about their definition of stress. Any definition of stress should also include good stress or eustress. For example, winning a race or lottery is just as stressful as losing. The stress that I will be addressing in this video is distress. Distress can be broken down into acute stress, which is the fight or flight where the body prepares to defend itself, and it takes about 90 minutes for the metabolism to return to normal when the response is over. And chronic stress, the cost of daily living, bills, kids, jobs, etc. This is the stress we tend to ignore or push down. If left uncontrolled, these stresses affect our health, our body, and our immune system. Let me share some statistics on mounting stress and its detrimental effects on body, mind, emotions, and health that shout at us. According to the American Institute of Stress, 75 to 90% of visits to the primary care physician are for stress-related complaints. And a Harvard study shows that people who live in a state of high anxiety are 4.5 times more likely to suffer sudden cardiac death than non-anxious individuals. Another international investigation reveals that people who are unable to effectively manage their stress have a 40% higher death rate than their non-stress counterpart. These statistics are over 10 years old. And as stress has mounted in our fast-paced society, these are more likely to be higher now. In 2002, people in the United States bought nearly 17.2 billion worth of antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs, which was up more than 10% from 2001. Americans spent over 1.1 billion in the same year on just 2 of the major prescription sleeping pills. 7 of the top 10 best-selling drugs are for stress-related ailment. The statistics scream that too much stress hurts. It hurts relationships, work, performance, health, and quality of life. The problem is that stress has become all-pervasive. Faster communications speed up events and people's sense of time. There is more to do than actual time to do it. Millions are bombarded with a constant stream of information. This is the age of information overload. They are exposed to other people's heightened stress at home, at school, and in the workplace. With little respite, people broadcast their stress through reactions, energies, and words, and everyone feels it. Many are so stressed, they feel they don't have the time to deal with stress. The momentum of stress carries people with it. Regardless of economic boom or recession, miracle drugs, or technological conveniences, stress levels keep rising. People keep doing the same thing that stress them out, as if there's nothing they can do about it. Stress is at the root of so many personal, family, and social problems, but there's no social movement to stop it. Stress can become so habit-forming that it numbs your brain to the urgency of addressing it, making us oblivious to the obvious. Most people try to deal with the effects and ignore the cause. It's easy to forget that stress is the body's warning signal that something is out of whack, and we delude ourselves into thinking that it's normal. During eustress and distress, the body undergoes virtually the same non-specific responses to various positive or negative stimuli acting upon it. However, eustress causes much less damage than distress. This demonstrates conclusively that it is how an individual accepts stress that determines ultimately whether the person can adapt successfully to change. Stress is ubiquitous and follows us everywhere. It is simply not in our best interest to keep acting so prehistorically. After all, rarely are we chased by a saber-toothed tiger in the urban jungles of the 21st century. It is time to understand how to increase the modulation of our primitive part of the brain so we can become better and more tolerant. We need not be so reactive, as this is not healthy. We must make every effort to recognize fear, eat better, laugh it off when things don't go as we hoped. What's important to understand is that the body responds differently in different emotional states, and that we can learn to self-regulate emotions. Since there is simply no avoiding it, the task for us is to further our understanding to improve management in ourselves. Through the understanding of stress phenomena, all people everywhere will be in a better position to use the positive aspects of this phenomena. It is a fact that we program ourselves for disappointment, as many expectations remain unfulfilled throughout the day. The key to reducing stress is to prevent it. Getting enough sleep, a proper diet, taking time out to relax, especially avoiding excess caffeine and other stimulants. Adding stimulants keeps adrenaline running through your system. Too much adrenaline eventually leads to exhaustion. And once you're exhausted, it gets harder and harder to find something to pick you back up. You can't build emotional reserves on adrenaline. Adrenaline also tends to intensify emotional reactions to stress. There are other stress relievers that work because of the power of the placebo effect that comes from having faith in the procedure or the therapist, because they reduce feelings of helplessness and provide a sense of control over the problem. Stress is an unavoidable consequence of life. There are some stresses, like the loss of a loved one, that we can't hope to avoid, and others that we can prevent or influence. The trick is in learning how to distinguish between the two so that we are not constantly frustrated. Now let me share my recommendations on steps to reduce stress naturally. Viewing nature reduces stress, but only if it is real. Numerous studies have shown that the emotional and physiological benefits of direct visual and physical access to nature, watching tropical fish, for example, swimming in a tank, or viewing a scene of natural beauty, can provide significant stress reduction rewards for many people. Even getting your hands dirty with soil by doing some gardening has been shown to relieve stress. Exercising also reduces stress. In one study, researchers reported that clinically depressed adults who participated in regular exercise for 3 months had an improvement in symptoms similar to what might have been achieved with an antidepressant drug. Other studies have found that higher levels of physical activity are associated with fewer symptoms of depression in children, as well as improvement in symptoms of adults with PTSD, panic, and other anxiety disorders. Possible explanations are that vigorous exercise can increase levels of endorphins, which are known to provide a sense of well-being and increased resistance to pain. Many stress reduction rewards can be achieved by walking just for about 20 to 30 minutes several times a week, or other much milder physical activities that promote a sense of well-being. The support provided by others in group exercise activities, as well as an improved sense of self-esteem associated with physical activity, can also have a powerful stress reduction effect. According to the Harvard Mental Health Study, you don't have to have a program that includes 45 minutes of rigorous exercise and sweating. A 10-minute walk is as good as a place to start anything else. But the most intriguing method that I would recommend is the Heartmath tools and technique. Heartmath Institute was founded in 1991 by Dr. Shildra. They research and develop reliable, scientifically based tools that bridge the connection between the heart and the mind. This empowers people to greatly reduce stress, increase resilience, and unlock their natural intuitive guidance for making better choices. These are simple, very user-friendly mental and emotional self-regulation tools and techniques that provide benefits in the moment and over sustained periods. Let me tell you about their fascinating research. They found that the pattern of beat-to-beat changes, which is also referred as HRV of the heart, reflected emotional state changes. They discovered a critical link between emotional states and the rhythms of the heart. The result of the breakthrough were first published in the American Journal of Cardiology in 1995 by Dr. McCready and colleagues. What they found was that positive and uplifting emotional states such as sincere love, care, compassion, and appreciation create a smooth and ordered heart rhythm pattern. The majority of people believe that emotions just happen to them. Heartmath research has found that people have much more power over their emotional well-being than they give themselves credit for. They just don't know how to access that power. They also found that positive emotions and smooth heart rhythm patterns facilitate higher brain functions, whereas stressful, emotional, and disordered heart rhythms inhibit a person's ability to coherently organize thought or reason clearly. This helps explain why, when people feel stressed, they make more mistakes and say or do things they later regret. Heartmath techniques transform stress because they show you how to engage in the power of the heart to change your heart rhythm patterns and your emotions right in the moment. While some people have stronger tendencies towards optimism or pessimism based on genetics, environment, or the activity of the neurotransmitters or hormones, they have found that anyone can learn to change their physiology and their emotions through the power of the heart. When you are stressed, if you connect with your energetic heart and you change your heart rhythm pattern to a more ordered and coherent pattern, your feelings and perceptions will change. Coherent heart rhythms help activate feelings of security and calm that bring your thoughts into more coherence. An ordered or coherent heart rhythm increases the synchronization of the brain's electrical rhythms with the electrical rhythms of the heart. By generating a positive emotion or attitude to increase heart-brain synchronization, you aren't denying or brushing aside underlying stress. You are getting coherent and bringing in new intelligent perspectives. Coherence expands your perception of the stressful situation, giving you more insight to make better decisions. These benefits are not just limited to mental well-being, but also physical well-being. In a study of 5,716 middle-aged people, those with the highest self-regulation abilities, including managing stress and unhealthy attitudes, were over 50 times more likely to be alive and without chronic disease 15 years later than those with the lowest self-regulation scores. I will mention the website link to Heartmath Institute, where they have a lot of free resources, and highly recommend you to take their course, the Hearthmath Experience, which is absolutely free of cost. If you found this video valuable, please don't forget to like and share this video with someone you think will benefit. Also, please do consider subscribing to my channel to get more videos like this.